So I'm actually getting to a stage in my life where I'm praying more often, I'm reading the Word of God more. And yet, as I was reading the scriptures, there was something that honestly spoke to me. In Luke 16, verse 10, it says, "He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in what is least is unjust also in much." And that honestly blew my mind, is because I'm always planning my life out. I'm trying to envision these great things that I should be doing or that I can do, trying to look at spiritual gifts that I can use to change the world, to more so preach the gospel into the world. And yet, what God is saying here, God is saying that in order to be faithful in much, because God has put these gifts inside of us, God has put these visions and these dreams inside of us for a purpose. And yet He's saying, instead of being faithful in much, why not be faithful in what is least? So when I think about it, when we tend to oversleep, when we tend to overeat, when we tend to miss that one workout, that one prayer, that one daily devotion, when we tend to leave the socks on the bed, leave the clothes on the bed, not do the washing, anything that is small and is simple, that it might seem insignificant to us. What if God is actually calling us to focus on what is least? Because if we are able to be just and faithful into what is least, then that will surely accumulate into what is much. And if you are unjust in what is least, then how are you capable of dealing with what is much? And honestly, that really spoke to me, is because now my thought process has changed from, instead of trying to save the world, instead of trying to speak to a whole audience, instead of trying to be grounded in my foundation with Christ by studying the scriptures, memorizing the verses, trying to get a closer relationship to Him, what if it just starts with that one prayer? What if it starts with just reading one verse? What if it starts with watching one sermon? What if it starts with giving a compliment to a stranger? Because I truly believe that's what Christ's love is actually about, is actually doing the small. And even though it might seem simple, but in the long run it will accumulate into what is large. For he who is faithful in what is least, in what people will actually look down upon, that is the most important part to being faithful in the latter run, to being faithful in what is big, to being faithful in what is much. So I really hope you got something out of that. It's quite quick and short, but honestly, I believe it speaks in a lot of volumes. That once you focused on what is least, being faithful in that, you shall be able to be faithful in what is much. But that will only happen in the long run. And that will only happen once you accumulate being faithfulness, being obedient to His word in what is least.